Greetings, beloved family. We are indeed in the most exciting of times. To quote one of my favorite literary lines based somewhat in truth in your history/herstory, at a time that was most pivotal time in the world. And Saint Germain was very much a part of that time. We are in the best of times, we are in the worst of times, or we are in the worst of times, we are in the best of times. Well, what did Dickens mean by that? He was talking about what was going on in Europe. Well, today it's going on all over your world, below, on and above, and for some, these are the worst of times. But I can assure you, beloved family, these are the best of times. Now, we don't usually use words of judgment like worst and best. But it is appropriate that you understand what you're on the very edge of, or just about to get to the other side of, via the bridge, or via your own merkabahs, flying machines, or whatever. Once planet Earth, and all of those who wish to go along on this fabulous journey, move up into the higher levels of 4D and higher, these things that you are struggling with, that you are being challenged with right now in this moment as you measure time, will no longer be a part of your lives and your lifestyles. If you want to get across that bridge faster, or however you want to see it, and empower yourselves all that much more to get to that point, then obviously your focus needs to remain the same as what we have been encouraging you to do. So we will move on to other topics, but here it is. Big letters, very loud, focus on doing your inner work. Focus on doing whatever outer work you have energy so to do. And primarily focus upon getting Nizra, not only announced, but implemented in peaceful ways. Nizra is divine and therefore it comes from divine sources, it comes from your own divine selves. So, Saint Germain will have more on that for you, but I want you to please remember that. It's about priorities, if you really want to look at it that way. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your focus where it can do the most uplifting and empowering, and bring you the most joy, which is keeping the focus upon yourselves and your evolvement and upliftment, and upon what you can do to help the rest of the world to get there, because you'll be going right along with the rest of the world. So, I would comment, lest you think that I am not mindful of the efforts that you, beloved family, are making in these two areas of priority as I am describing them. I would still say this: you are wonderful, indeed. You are magnificent. You are beamers of the highest degree. You know, when I started Ashtar on the road, and make no mistake, in case you're wondering where that name came from, it came from me. Because my original vision for this group was to travel, so as to engage and bring my energies personally to audiences all up and down the western United States, and then farther. Everybody has a voice and you might be thinking, well, how, if you call a meeting of the entire command, how can everybody be talking at once? Or, doesn't that break down? You've seen the shows on television with the different groups, you call them special interest groups. You call them your Republicans and Democrats, meeting to discuss something, a program, an action course, meeting to discuss something, and you know what those meetings are like. Everybody's talking and nobody is really solving any kind of a problem. Everybody's wanting to see what special favors they can get behind closed doors. There are exchanges of money and other, let's just say favors, going all the way into the very darkest of rewards. God bless. And I say, God/Goddess we are, let us bless all of those involved, and most especially the children who came in to serve in a most unhappy way. So these kinds of things are going on all the time. So in my command it's quite different. It is a circular command and everybody brings themselves in some kind of a physical manner, their light bodies, their merkabahs, whatever. You know, we do have high 4D beings in our command and they oftentimes move into shapes that are even more recognizable. In other words, they're shining pretty bright, just like you, beloved ones, when you shine your lights. But we get together, and we know immediately what our next course will be, or whatever, because everybody is providing input, but everybody is receiving on the same wavelength. Now, that's a big difference, is it not? When you have people representing special interest groups, Well, let's say, people from special interest groups all coming together. Are they on the same wavelength? No. They're all there for their own special interests. And so there's a big difference in the way government is going to be conducted under the divine Israel law. That gets back to you. When I first started Ashtar on the road, and there are some of you who have been here from the very beginning, including the voice who has consented to let me use her speaking capabilities, I asked you to be beamers. We've even had a beloved family member who was Arnold, who called us beam teamers. That was his phrase that he liked to apply to anyone who came to any of our gatherings, or who read the transcripts that he transcribed of our gatherings, or in any way looked us up on the website Beam Teamers. Good definition, as it turns out, because it's all about shining your lights. It's all about lighting up the world. And why light up the world? Well, you just might have just heard a very good reason given by our beloved masters of the news, because as we shine our lights brighter and brighter, more and more powerfully, there is nothing that is so dark that it can hide anymore. And that is a way that we are cleaning up the world. Or you can just simply shine it out in waves everywhere. Let all that is still to be revealed, all that is still hiding in the dark, all that is of low vibration, all that is of the old 3D programs of control, let it all be revealed. And guess what? While you're doing that, you are not only being beamers, you are being peacemakers of the most powerful kind. You're not saying, oh, let's wipe them off the face of the planet, let's do this, let's do that. You don't need to do any of that. You leave them up to us. We are in charge, the Ashtar Command, Saint Germain, Sananda, all of this humongous dash if you like that word, I think that's a nice word, group of light beings, working in partnership with all of the White Knights and members of Faction 3. While you're at it, you might want to beam them your thanks. Some of the ground crew, many of the ground crew have indeed lost their lives, their physical lives. You can be sure they're up on the bridge of my ship. Anybody who was a part of this operation is now up on a ship, beaming brighter than ever and assisting in empowering you and all of you who are ground crew lightworkers right now. Let's talk about changing hearts, for a moment. Let's talk about courage. Sekhmet really shines at this, but I'm going to say a few words here because I want to honor all of you, first of all, who are here, all of you who had the courage, the inspiration, the guidance, or the curiosity for that matter, to come to this gathering, to acknowledge your membership in the Ashtar on the Road family, to beam bright your lights, even if you're just getting started. It matters not. Welcome. You've been here all along anyway, in one part of you, or one aspect of you, so welcome. And thank you for bringing your conscious, illusionary, but, nevertheless, very real seeming 3D bodies, minds and hearts to our gathering, because we are becoming more and more in our numbers, because more and more of you are literally showing up. You've always been visible as radiant divine beings, but now you're amplifying your lights, you're beaming even brighter. And this is how we get it done. If you weren't with us, here in this family, the world would look a lot different than it does now, because there would not be nearly as much light shining upon what darkness remains, because there would not be nearly the support for all of the Faction 3 ground crew. And there certainly would not be the support and the permission, for those of us who come from the higher dimensions of the Ashtar Command, to be in such closeness with you, to be in such assistance with you. So, if you are in any way feeling that there is any kind of an obstruction, a barrier or anything like that between us, shine your lights on it and dissolve it now, and just see that we are all together on the path of light. Focus on shining your lights on it. Focus on helping to bring Israel forth, because it comes from where we all are in the higher dimensions, to be the ultimate, if you will, light that uplifts planet Earth to where there is only light. No more darkness. We're working together and we're accomplishing great services, great missions along the way. Israel is the final, ultimate step, the last step upon the bridge across, if you will. And we wish to honor and thank all of you for being here in this family. And I wish to make the further point that I am available to all of you. You can come for a private discussion with me if you wish. You can find out about that on my website, I shall say, because it has my name on it. Although it is our website, it is for all of us in this Ashtar on the Road family. You can simply bring yourselves up as individuals, or perhaps, even in small groups, into the place where there is only light, and you can converse one-on-one. You can have a council meeting as Sananda teaches whatever you wish to do, and however you wish to do it. Some of you might like to write. You can ask me some questions and write the answers. And they will be serving you better if you have simple questions that can get a yes or no, until you get more used to being one-on-one or a small group in my energy, if you wish to do that. I am available to all of you. And I do wish to point out that I have been blessed with those who were ready to engage in partnership with me in a more focused way of service and mission. I asked Melissa to set up that website for the ships in a different and unique way, as you will see. If you haven't been there, check it out. There are no accidents. I asked many people to come together. Dr. Vinayak is one. I asked this Ashtar on the Road group of 2 women, and there were others initially, to move to Maui, and now he is here. I asked Heather, I shall say I invited Heather to come to discussion with me, and from there we, shall we say, uplifted our relationship. She now converses with me at will, and it's very instrumental in bringing the work of MT Kesh to the world. And there are many, many others among you, transcribers who have stepped up through the years, many volunteers, those of you who have found it possible to assist in financial ways, those of you who support this family with your prayers and blessings, those of you who join together with this family in meditations. They're not exactly costumes because we're for real, but we choose to show ourselves occasionally, some of us, with some kind of a recognizable body form, while still shining our lights through enough so that you know that it's really us. And I will say that Sananda is a master of that. And, yes, he's standing right here, along with the other mentors in our mentors group. And we welcome you to the Bridge of the New Jerusalem, or into council with any or all of us, at any time you choose. Let the barriers be dissolved in the light of the love you are, if you're feeling any whatsoever, and join with us in celebration of our family, of our oneness, and of our love. Thank you, beloved ones, for being together in this divine gathering. Keep on beaming. And so it is.